the spark that exists inside of you, meaning your soul, say, is a piece of the essence of God. So the essence of God is isness. There is no way to really say it. It is the force of isness, meaning it's the common denominator between everything that exists. The root of everything, at the core. Human being, the camera, the phone, the tree, the stones, the animals. Essence of everything is God. This is a frame. When you see me talking, it's not me. I mean, I am talking. I am initiating the speech, say. But what you see is not me. The body contains the light, and wherever we go, we're carrying our soul with us. But we don't even notice every day. We're not the body. If I want to go over there, I have to carry this 140 pounds of meat and bones everywhere I want to go. Next time you look at a human being, look at them and think to yourself, what I'm seeing is a costume. I'm not actually looking at the person. I'm looking at the body of the person. That's freaky. And that's true. If you want to see me, if I want to see you, if you want to see someone for who they are, then you have to go into their soul. You have to look deep within them. You have to go through the frame. You have to look through the body. What separates the stone from the tree, from the animal, from the human? If you want to go there. So they all have energy. They all have souls. Of course, it's not the same level of revelation of a soul. Like, for example, animals are not self-conscious. Plants are not conscious. And stones are not either. Such a strong level of concealment. That's why. And that exists at the core of every atom. You cannot actually attain that infinite level in its entirety. Although you can attain it in degrees. But you cannot attain the level of God. You cannot be God. You cannot reveal your soul, the essence of your soul in its entirety. Because then you would be God. Because you cannot be perfect. Because then you would be God. You cannot understand God in his entirety. Because then you would be God. That is the one essential difference between the emanator and the emanated beings, meaning God and the creation. The one essential, fundamental, basic difference is limitation. God doesn't have any, although we do. In the Kabbalistic terminology, we refer to the mode of God's being that emanated as Ein Sof, called no end. Literally it means no end, which means endless. There's no boundaries, there's no limits. There is no frame. You look into this world, everything has a frame. Everything has a frame. You have a frame. This can be very freaky. We're not going to talk about it too much, but this is a frame. People, they get so caught up in, I am my body, I am my body. No, you're your soul. But you have to take the body with you. So it's kind of like a burden. You see, it's like a limitation. You can't be at multiple places at once. You can't. The fact that you can't anything means that you're limited. So we already talked about why humans differ. It's because they have self-consciousness, they have free will, they have the ability to speak. So they differ from the first three levels of existence, the stone, the plants, and the animals. Humans are the only level that can volunteer to engage in spiritual activity. That's the defining characteristic. Free will. You are a soul, and you have capacity for light. You have capacity for connection with Hashem, say. And the extent to which you are spiritual is commensurate with the amount of light that you are storing in your soul. The amount of connection that you have with Hashem. You and I are not on the same level. If we were, then we would be very connected to each other. and we would be very, we would feel attracted to each other. Not sexually, but we would find an attraction with each other. It could be with a man and a man, like a teacher and a student, or a friend and a friend. It could be with a woman and a woman. Again, teacher, student, or friend and a friend. But if it's a man and a woman, that becomes what you can call your soulmate. Whenever you find two people of the opposite energy force, men and women, female and male, that have a joint venture, they have the same goal, because they're on the same level and they have the same or similar, not in the same, but very, very similar purposes. So that's a soulmate. In spirituality, there's a general rule that similarity brings closeness and difference brings distance. The rule that similarity brings closeness is in reference to the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act. And the closeness is closeness to God. You can have a friend who's sitting right next to you physically, but you can feel you're worlds apart. Because spiritually, you're different. You're not similar. On the other hand, you can have someone who's all the way on the other side of the world, and you're physically distant, but spiritually, you are very connected to that person. You feel very similar to that person. If your mother is not Jewish, you're not Jewish. If your mother is Jewish, you're Jewish. That is the law in the Torah, the Jewish law, for the level of the soul of neshama. Your role as a neshama, it's an obligation, it's a responsibility. Something that the non-Jewish people, they're not obligated to do it. They only have 7 obligations. You have a greater responsibility to pursue that which you know in your heart of hearts is your purpose. Revealing the light of God, the light of good, bringing peace, not just to yourself, but through yourself to the world, to the people who are connected to you. Because you have family, you have friends, you have spouses, you have people who are connected to you through all sorts of spiritual ways and emotional ways. You affect them when you change. When you ascend, you are benefiting the people who have ties to you. Moses was the highest level neshama that's ever existed. In fact, he was higher than neshama. He penetrated, I think, either chaya or yachida. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, he was such a high level that he kind of comprised the entirety of Am Yisrael, the entire nation of Israel.